Merry meet and welcome. Welcome to the realms of mysticism, the occult, and magic, where your possibilities are only limited by your imagination. Welcome to the witch's cauldron and discover the knowledge you seek. Gather round the cauldron and even stay for a spell. Brightest blessings to you. Merry meet and welcome to the Witch's Cauldron. My name's Paula. We've got another kind of significant event going on in the magical realm, and that is a lunar eclipse on November 30th. Depending on where you are in the world, it will dictate how much of the eclipse you will be able to see, when it will occur, etc., etc., etc. I encourage you to, look up and see where your location will be able to best see it, and at what time to look in the sky to see it actually occur. Now, lunar eclipses in Magick usually focus on transformation, especially highlighting things to focus on and when to let go of things that no longer serve you. This November 30th, there will be a full moon lunar eclipse in Gemini. And one of the things that you may expect from this eclipse and from the various influences that are in play is that you may have like an awakening of your perception of recent events and give you insight into why things are happening, how they impact you, and how you can capitalize on your own personal growth from those events. Okay? This full moon eclipse in Gemini, with Gemini being the twins, can also have you focus on balancing or needing to balance out your physical body and your spiritual body. In other words, to do possibly work on your spiritual body that will then, help a state of depression. A lot of people are going through great depression right now because of the pandemic, uncertainty, financial woes. And it can take a big toll on your physical body. So if you can get your spiritual and your mental, more aligned, then your physical body will improve also. There is a very, very strong goddess energy affiliated with this lunar eclipse. Okay? There are three goddesses that can play very prominently into your workings depending on your path. The first one is Ceres, and I'll put her name down here, and she is known as the goddess of discord and strife. Okay, but she only walks this path when she knows that we can rise up to the occasion. In other words, she can help you get through, rise up, and tackle whatever that is causing strife in your life, letting go of that baggage, and help you get through everything that's going on. It is her chaos that helps us do our course corrections, let us know when it's time for us to let go, and that chaos pushes us to grow. Another one is Vesta. Vesta is goddess of hearth and fire. She tells us to tend to our own inner fire and to nurture our inner spark. In other words, our drive, our passions. My mom used to call it my get up and go. Okay. She also reminds us that when we tend to our inner flame and that spark, we also spark and connect with our own creativity, our inner strength, our drive, our passions. And once we embrace that, we can see things a little bit clearer with Vesta's help. Depending on your path, this could also be a good time to work with Lilith, okay? Because of the energies between the moon and the earth, with what an eclipse is in the mechanics of an eclipse. I'm not going to go into that. You guys probably already know it anyway. So this is when there is a sense of, or an energy of, the need for freedom and liberation, to let go. She allows us to let go of repressed emotions and bring them up to the surface so we can release them, heal, and let go of the hurt. A lot of times I say that many of us have a tendency to compartmentalize, especially with traumatic experience or emotional things. I spent a career in public safety, so I was always putting things in boxes and putting them up on the shelf and said, okay, I'll deal with that when I can. I have this to get through right now, to deal with, you know, an emergency, with a situation, through planning, etc., etc., etc. And we all have a tendency to do that with our experiences that leave a profound mark on our life. We put them in a box, put them up on a shelf, and we say we're going to deal with them. Well, eventually that shelf will collapse and everything comes crashing down on top of you. So Lilith, instead of allowing everything to come down and crash on you, she encourages you to take down those boxes, open them up one by one, and see what you can learn from them. Many Wiccans won't work with Lilith. Many of those on the left-hand path embrace her, but just know that many are afraid to work with Lilith, but I completely understand why the stigma exists with Lilith, that many who walk a Wiccan path will not work with her. And the last one is Ceres. Now, Ceres is about fertility and renewal. She reminds us to take care of ourselves. We nurture and nourish ourselves. That energy of self-care. She also calls you to spend time in nature, okay? Go outside, sit, and just observe, okay? If you have any wounds, emotional traumas associated with your either your mothering of a child of yours, or the way that you were mothered by a mother figure, she can help you tend to those, what we'll call mother wounds, okay? When Ceres works with you, it indicates that you're at a point of harvest. In other words, the work that you've put in has grown to fruition. Reap the rewards from it. So especially if you've been doing some, you know, shadow magic and really working with yourself, trying to heal old traumas, getting those boxes down and working with them, Ceres will help you reap the rewards of those actions. The one thing that we really need to remember is that this lunar eclipse brings almost a sense of chaos to us. And there are a lot of things in play that are contributing to that. And what we have to remember is to not take those emotions associated with that chaos, throw them in a box and put them up on the shelf. Let those emotions out. Nurture and nourish yourself, and honor any lessons that you have learned, any harvests that you have realized through these experiences. Love yourself through this lunar eclipse. Now, with this eclipse being in the sign of Gemini, Gemini is the sign of the twins, okay, the duality. There representative of the tangible and the unseen, the mundane and the esoteric. They are signifying both the human and the state of being that makes us human beings. They remind us that we're not just this physical vessel, that we have a soul who needs to learn lessons, and a soul that we need to nurture, nourish, and take care of. And like I say often in my videos, you know, in everything that happens, there's a lesson and a blessing throughout this lunar eclipse. Try and figure out what your lessons and your blessings are, okay? Now, another thing, Gemini is an air sign, and air rules our minds, our creative, our thoughts, our knowledge. And our mind has the power to paint the picture and the future that we want to see, okay? It's our ability to see things and then attach stories or lessons and blessings to them. One of the key things is to take a look at your stories and release the ones that don't serve you any longer. And it's also an encouraging time for you to let go of the ego of the human side, and which is what we usually get wrapped up in, and just honor the soul, okay? The thing to keep in mind is that lunar eclipses put us where we are meant to be, okay? And what you are going through may be very traumatic. The events of the last year may have included many traumas, but the thing is to embrace, do some self-care, examine, carry forward what serves you, release what does not. So the overarching themes for this lunar eclipse in Gemini is to listen to your emotions and your thoughts. Recent surprising changes that feel traumatic right now can improve your life in the long run. It encourages you to view your current reality with a different lens. In other words, to see things in a different light. It encourages you to let go of beliefs or the stories in your life that are limiting you as a person, as a soul, and as a practitioner. It also encourages you to quiet the mind so that you can gain the insight that you need to navigate a lot of troubled waters in everything that we've been going through. Some things to just keep in mind, you know, some do's and don'ts. Do be open-minded about your next steps, okay? Eclipses have the power to change your path, okay? It's a shakeup, okay? And feelings can be raw, and your words can be very stinging. Be very careful. So this isn't a time for manifesting full moon wishes and doing magic. It's a time of transformation and a time of introspection. It is an important time for you to express your feelings in words, but choose your words carefully, especially if you are addressing someone else. This would be a great time to sit down with your journal. A lot of Wiccans and witches keep journals. I would encourage you to journal your thoughts through this process, and then you can include them in your Book of Shadows to document your journey on the path. Putting it down in words sometimes helps you actually do the work of seeing what serves you and what doesn't serve you anymore. And it helps that thought process of putting it into words and putting it onto paper, or typing it onto the computer and keeping it in an electronic journal, can actually help you see what you need to see. This is a time where you do not want to rock the boat in your love life. Emotions are raw, everything's been in chaos. And Venus will be in opposition to change-making Uranus. And yes, it's Uranus and not Uranus. The pronunciation was changed by American broadcast back in the 80s. So I think it was like 1986. NASA says Uranus. The pronunciation changed. If you're a true blue astrologer, you still say Uranus. Not me. So I had Uranus beat into my head when I was learning astrology. So don't crucify me for that. So these feelings of change may want you may feel like just trying something different, moving on, finding a different love. But Uranus is very unpredictable. Tread very lightly, because it can bring shocking revelations in the romance department. And, you know, you may do something to break up with somebody that you may regret in the long run. Wait till these influences have settled down and then take another look at it, okay? Hold off on making any great big decisions right now. A lunar eclipse full moon is like a full moon with roid rage, okay? It's about turning points, revelations, surprises, and having that big epiphany. Right now, your decisions are being driven by emotion and things and even people. But try not to make any big moves right now. Sit back, see what's going on, take that holistic look at what's going on, and then move forward when the eclipse energy settles down. Don't get wrapped up in the big picture, okay? Gemini is in opposition to the sun that is in Sagittarius right now, and it's taking our attention and our passions, and it's bebopping us back and forth between global events and what's happening in your home, right in front of you or in your own home. Take a step back, let things flow a little bit, and instead just focus on self-care, focus on you, focus on your loved ones and the things that are around you. And if any course corrections are needed, wait till the energies calm down a little bit, okay? So that's it. What you reap out of a lunar eclipse all depends on the work that you want to put into it. Sometimes it's very, very hard, especially considering everything that's going on in the world right now, to sit down and do a lot of work where emotions are raw and there's a lot of chaos going on. But sometimes sorting out the chaos helps you see what you need to see and reveal what you need to have revealed to you. So sit down, put the work in, be very thoughtful, and as I always say, my friends, married we did meet, merry we will part, until we merry meet again. Be well and walk in love and light, everybody. Bye.